Hello, hello. Welcome to the Daily Political Tarot and Astrology here on the Black and Orange channel. I just realized I completely forgot to put on mascara. Really? Okay. And just take me a second while I'm explaining. Hi, everybody. I'm here literally every single day of the year to take your... Yeah, no, I wasn't hurrying. No, not at all. I'm here every single day of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. So just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. We have got epic troll slayers who keep us safe. Thank you. We've got a fantastic community here who's even willing to put up with me. And that shows some patience. So, you have been so kind to each other, and you've been so kind to me, so thank you. And if you're watching this on replay, the good news is you can skip all this, because all the questions are in the description box. I timestamp them as I go, so you can pick and choose what you're interested in, or you can watch back on like 1.25 speed, which I do a lot on YouTube. So, all right. We have got all kinds of crazy today. And some of it, I'm just like, wow, we really are in a cult, aren't we? There's a really interesting book that I recommend. I'll have to find the link. Oh, thank you, Lois. Thank you, Lois. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. I will find the link. But this is a really good astrology book. It's specifically about Neptune and how if you go back through certainly U.S. history, how what sign Neptune was in, how it affected us collectively in our hopes and our dreams and our actions because of that kind of thinking. From the fun to the dear great Gussie, I won't go in. There's something in here about the unaliving of Abraham Lincoln, that Neptune was an Aries, which rules this part of the body and rules things that go pew pew. Just saying. So it's a really good book. And one of the things it was talking about was how, because this was written, or this came out in the mid 80s, I want to say. Copyright 1984 by Stanley A. Barker. Thank you, Gray. So one of the things that we're talking about in this book that Stan Barker was talking about in this book was when Neptune goes through its own sign of Pisces. And because this was written decades before, Neptune entered Pisces in 2012. And I know that because we had a sudden explosion of... We'd had CGI in movies for a long time, but let's put it this way. The first Avengers movie came out in 2012 and exploded. And CGI and a lot of stuff. But one of the things about Neptune is because Neptune rules the sea, you can think about it that if you put something in the sea, what happens to it? It dissolves. If you put something in water, it dissolves. So anything that is immaterial, just about everything that's immaterial, or not everything, a lot of things that are immaterial are ruled by Neptune, are things you can't hold on to: spirituality, art, any kind of fantasy, any kind of things along those. Saturn forms things, so they're solid. Neptune diffuses things, or rules the immaterial. Coral says we're going to hear a lot of gibberish. I'm almost done. Anyway, but one of the things about Donald Trump and his chart is that his Mercury, his communication, is square, so grinding up against Neptune in his chart. And people who have that, I'm not saying they're all liars, that's not true. Because some people, they find that square energy, that grinding energy, and they find a good outlet for it, and that's wonderful. But every time I run across somebody who is just the most bald-faced liar, I just, every time if I'm going to be looking at their chart, it's like, okay, where's Mercury? Where's Neptune? And it's surprising how often they are 90 degrees away from each other, squaring, grinding energy. Guess what Trump has? Yeah, I mean, it just lies. But as Saturn came home into its own sign, what happened in 2012 and what we've been dealing with for the last 12 years specifically, but certainly once we were dealing with Trump in 2015, 2016, is the lies. Because when planets go into their own sign, they let it all hang out. They're just, oh, I'm home. I'm going to put on the ratty sweatpants. I'm going to just let it all hang out. And people have been lying and getting away with it this last decade, really. Just driving us crazy. It's like you couldn't nail, especially in the early days of Trump, you couldn't nail down. It's like, no, there's truth. And then Kellyanne Conway, no, there are alternative facts. No, there are not alternative facts. A fact is a fact is a fact. It is not subjective, it is objective. But Neptune's been in Pisces, the sign it rules. So it's all just been this nebulous thing. Frustrating. But one of the things that Stan Barker, what he thought was going to happen was when Neptune went back into its own sign. In the past, when Neptune has gone into Pisces, what has happened has often been some kind of religious revival, like in the 1840s. That whole just swept across the nation, the whole religious revival, tent revivals, revival, spirituality, kind of the evangelicals in a way of their time. And he was saying that he expected there to be more revivals and things like that when Neptune went back into Pisces. And it turns out that because of other things that were going on, because no planet acts on its own without any other influence, because Pluto was in Capricorn, the sign of hierarchy, et cetera, turns out we've got a cult. And we have got a cult of hierarchy. We've got a cult centered around a person. And it's not Jesus. It's Donald Trump. Now, the good news is that Neptune is in the last signs, it's the last degrees of Pisces. And so it's going to be moving into the next sign. Now, that doesn't mean that everything's just suddenly going to be peachy keen, but we'll have a different set of problems. There's an English saying, a change is as good as a rest. Well, that's not really, but okay. The Birdie says, toxic Christianity sweeping the nation now. Yeah, there's some of that going on too. There's a lot of talk going on. People, it was talking about on the news this morning, people talking about the Southern Baptist Church, and people feeling more and more alienated at their churches because of those people who have politicized the whole thing. And Thea Birdie, when does it get into the next sign? Starting in 2025. Neptune is going to go into Aries. We will have to talk about that in future. And like I said, it doesn't mean everything's going to be, everything's just perfect now, but it won't be this. So I wanted to point that out, that Neptune is in the last degrees of its own sign. This is important. Why is this important? I think I started talking at 4 minutes in? Something, I'm not sure. Let me see. 4 minutes in. The last awful gasp of Neptune in Pisces. Okay, which at 11:25 leads into, ready for this one? The GOP has introduced a bill that would rename the 4 miles of current coastal waters. Now, those of you who live near the ocean, good for you. There's a 4-mile stretch around each of the outline of the country in the water it's our U.S. exclusive economic zone, the EEZ. The GOP has introduced a bill that would rename our 4 miles of current coastal waters. Interesting. The ocean. Neptune. Cool coincidence. Currently named the U.S. Exclusive Economic Zone, the EEZ. The GOP has introduced a bill that would rename it to the, quote, Donald John Trump Exclusive Economic Zone of the United States, unquote. I swore out loud when I heard that. Yes, I used a very bad swear word. And then I added the word him at the end of it. Apparently Trump is super excited. He thinks this is great. Of course he does. Will this happen? Will this actually... Lori Burdine, you're not far off from what I was saying. I'm using the Tarot of Mystical Moments today, just so you know. So is there going to be the Donald John Trump Exclusive Economic Zone of the United States, as opposed to the U.S. Exclusive Economic Zone? Oh, Neptune in Pisces. Okay, well, first of all, it's a step up from having an airport named after you, isn't it? Who's the president of the United States? Oh, look, it's Joe Biden. Thank you. Page of Wands. This is very small. This is very small-minded. This is pathetic. This is a total suck-up. Howling at the Moon. Not going to go well. I don't think we're the only ones who are just, are you blanking me? Ace of Wands. Yeah, the one action to look at me, Trump. 3 of Pentacles. That's their plan. 10 of Cups. Get stuffed. Democrats, we've got this. Yeah, you can do your stupid. You can try to do your stupid stuff, but you don't have the power to pull that off. So, yeah, no. It's like this says Joe would veto that bill in a heartbeat. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, John, I like that. John France. I'm at the felony zone. Anything Trump related, yes. Oops. Zones are meant to be invaded. Oh, okay, Dave. That works. Okay. Oh, okay. Lori. It's pronounced Burdine as in eat. Burdine. Lori Burdine. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. I'll try to remember. Okay, so oh my gosh. Yeah, it's Phyllis Leone. Alley. Can they go any further up his alley? Good question. Okay, so at 1550, 1550, Wolf Rebel, great name, was asking, we haven't heard an update from Barbara Jones in a while, the Trump Org financial monitor. Will her next update expose Trump Org as being on the verge of collapsing? Well now. Has anybody heard anything from Barbara Jones? Anything we missed? Please let us know. Barbara Jones. Is Trump Org / Griftco collapsing? Interesting. Six of Swords. Well, Dumpy's not there very much because he's got a whole lot of legal problems. The company has a whole lot of legal problems. The people inside the company. Their chief financial officer is currently in prison. Hey, Queen of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. So, Queen of Wands. So this is Dumpy and the people around him, Junior and Eric and Sniffy Junior and Forgettable. They're supposed to be running the thing. The 10 of Pentacles, this is the card of the dynasty. The 6 of Wands is supposed to be their victory. But then we've got a big old death card. Big old death card with a 9 of Wands, the PTSD, feeling beaten up card. So this idea that I'd say, we're in this together, we're a family. It doesn't even feel like that. It feels, look, their relationships are so transactional, it's shocking. Look, I'm not saying that I'm not saying I'm best friends with my sisters. I mean, we love each other. We see each other, we talk, we catch up, but you know who my actual best friend is, a woman who lives on the other side of the country. But I mean, I love my sisters deeply. There's none of that here, other than the sense of, well, we're on the same level because we're above everybody else. But this is so transactional. And Griftco is going to go the same way as all the other Trump companies. When have you ever known a Trump company not to ultimately fail spectacularly? That's what I've got going there. Okay. Tenny says narcissists cannot love. You're not wrong. Gray, wait, who is Forgettable? I can't remember. There's Sniffy, father, Sniffy Jr., forgettable, and the princess. All right. Whew. 2015. Joanne Cleve had a question. I honestly think part of this question is Google related. I'm not entirely sure the details, like the dates. What is happening? So Joanne Cleve asked, what is happening with Judge Engoran's case with A.G. James? How is this going to wrap up? Well, my understanding is he's trying to appeal, but I didn't hear about, has anybody heard when that appeal, has he actually filed that appeal? Didn't he have 30 days or something to file an appeal? Honestly, I'm not sure what's been going on with that, but let's have a look at the A.G. James Judge Engoran case. Flag that says there was some repeated shadiness with the bond. That's true. Luna Storm 23 says, I believe it was filed and waiting for New York Appeals Court. Okay, thank you. Ace of Wands. Well, that would be him, the blowhard, blowing smoke to try to get an appeal. Surprise. Oh, Knight of Pentacles. Oh, look, it says lawyers. Oh. Deb Hope says, I had heard the civil New York State case appeal was scheduled for September, but I may be wrong. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. These are his lawyers. This is a Knight of Pentacle, but this is a Hermit. So his lawyers may be working on something, or they were, but it's just quiet. A.G. James and Judge Engoran and people who believe in justice, they have reason to be cautiously celebrating that this jerk will be held accountable. Obviously, it's not set in stone yet, but we're headed in a good direction. I'm just checking the chat. And Yvonne M says, I heard that too. Okay, thank you. But after that, we get the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune. Good luck. Good luck, Dumpy. This does not bode well. This is a change in fortunes, or in this case, a changing in hands of a fortune away from him. So I don't think this is going to go so well. But yeah, things are relatively quiet. I guess we're just waiting. So the Hermit looks like, Thea says the Hermit looks like Nick Nolte to me. So, okay. Hello, Jovi. All right, just have a quick look, and we're moving on. Moving on. And we're walking. And we're walking. Claude had a question. Okay. Very brief. I cannot stay in this energy for long. I just... But Claude had a question, so I'll give it my best shot. The Epstein court files are unsealed. However, everyone involved is listed as J. Doe, and then a number. Some people are thinking that John Doe or J. Doe 174 could be Dumpy. I don't want to look at that specifically, But I will look at, will Trump face any justice for his time with Epstein? His actions with Epstein? If you need to take a step back from the computer or your device to just to get away from the stench. Well, Donald Trump. Oh, I don't like the energy. I don't. Seven of Cups. Well, there's been a whole lot of why not share the names? Why not? He's that awful. What he did was that disgusting. And if people around him were like, look, I had nothing to do with this, we can see what kind of people they are. And Trump spent a whole lot of time with Epstein. A whole lot of time. He's friends with him for years. Hal Sparks has even looked at the maps and figured out that they always, in New York and in Florida, they lived literally 10 minutes or less away from each other. It was literally just up there, turn there. Howling at the Moon. Knight of Swords. All right, that is aggressive law enforcement. Ace of Cups. Okay, there may be something in future. Maybe. But this energy is so bad. I feel like this part of me is being like, something's trying to like attack this. Yeah. And part of that is Epstein is currently a low-level garbage kind of spirit. The only thing that was keeping him even vaguely on this plane of existence or above was the human shell. And once he popped out of that, sank. That's what I've always gotten. That there isn't a pit of fire. What there is there's higher and higher vibrations, and then from this level, there's lower and lower and lower. It just gets more compact and crushed down, and it's like it's sandwiched. I get this mental image of him standing, but the whole thing is just very brown and very crushed, and so he can't really move. But people at that level, they start, because they live off of negative, low vibration energy, they almost try to kind of morph into like a monstrous thing just to try to scare people so they can feed off the negative energy. So on the whole, it's just like, oh, yeah, you're disgusting. Get away. You're just a parasite. Get away. But it's still gross. Even if you can put up good barriers to be like, you are scum of the earth. You are worse than scum of the earth. Anyway. Hanged Man. 10 of Wands, burden. 6 of Wands. Oh, look. Victory of the Wand. 6 of Swords, leaving, legally moving, leaving. So there could be something, but there are also, a lot of these women who've grown up, they're traumatized. And until our justice system is willing to start naming names, holding people accountable, doing full investigations, why should these women come forward? So will the DOJ 2940 will the DOJ in some form finally hold Epstein, Trump, and I just even hold them. Finally charge Trump with something related to Epstein. Full investigation, an actual thing. Please. Alan says, this is why we're lucky that we have our spirit guides. They take care of us. We just have to ask. Yep. Oh, if I didn't feel like I had spirit guides, I would not. No way. No way I'd get anywhere near any of this energy. No. Sherry says, please wear your sage. Yeah, just put it in my collar. Thank you. Flag this, a statute of limitations probably passed on this. I'm still wondering why Ghislaine hasn't turned over the goods. I've never been able to get a really good answer on that one. Because when it comes to being vile, she's a whole other level. Her and Epstein are a whole level of evil. And not in this traditional sense. They're not demons. They're humans who chose to be that way. That's evil. World and the Six of Pentacles for the reading. The end of an era, the end of Six of Pentacles. That's charity. Well, they've gotten away with a lot. Hierophant. So the institution's Three of Cups. Women, young women who were not protected, who should have been. Seven of Wands. So on the defensive about the wand stuff, the Emperor. Yeah, he's so important. But I've got a Five of Swords here. This is the adding insult to injury, adding legal insult to injury. Maybe. I've got a maybe. I wish it was stronger. I've got a I wish I was getting a strong feeling on this. But I think there are a lot of people in law enforcement who don't want to let this go. They don't want this to just disappear into the ether. CC Ryder says, via Newsweek, none of the papers that Doe 174 was mentioned in includes any allegations of wrongdoing. Mm-hmm. Thank you, CC Ryder. By the way, if I sound dismissive or disgusted, it's not at any of you. Trust me, it's at these scumbags. So, all right. Ugh. Feathers wants to know about Trump's health, if he's going to make it to election day. Sage for you. Cleansing. There. That's better. Okay, let's move on. At 34. Feathers wants to know about Trump's health and if he will make it to the election day. Because his, I've always picked up that his insides look like the grease trap at a fast food restaurant. Not good. Yeah, the link down here. It might the link in the description box. No mystical moments. It refresh the page because the description box was updated, and there's a link there to Mystical Moments Tarot. I hope it's the right one. So, okay. 30, 35. For what it's worth, it feels like it. But let's see what the cards have to say. Oh, good, Susan. Sage felt good. Good. Dumpy's health. Three of Wands. He's done a lot to his body that's not good. So in that sense, waiting for your ship to come in, it's kind of a tick-tock. Two of Cups. This feels like healthcare. King of Pentacles with all the gold and the money. Even if it's grift. He has access to excellent healthcare. He just doesn't let stuff be released. And as long as, and he will usually go through with what they recommend as long as they add a lot of puffery. The Star. He's so important. He's special. Page of Wands. Not the King of Wands. He's weaker. He's stressed. Five of Wands. But the thing is, stirring the pot is also, he's stirring the pot. That whole stupid thing about if you get hit back 10 times harder, blah, blah, blah. Bern O'Malley says that deck looks like a lot like the Weird World Tarot to me, just saying, oh, it might be. I don't have the box handy. Sorry. I'm sorry if I've got the wrong deck listed. Sorry. Flag, this says 8 decades of eating junk, no exercise. Yeah. Bernadette Smith says, don't forget all the Diet Coke. Yes. All right, Dumpy. You going to make it to November? Hanged Man. For all the stress he's under, I get this sense of him. It's like it isn't solid campaigning and solid work from now until the election day. It does feel like there's a gap where he's stressed, but he gets more rest. I'm hoping it means he's sentenced to something that actually interferes with his hedonistic life. I hope it's not just wishful thinking on my part. 10 of Wands, burden, 9 of Swords, sleepless nights, 3 of Pentacles, the plan. He's burdened. The energies, he's not doing well, but I'm not getting cards of shuffling off this mortal coil for what it's worth. Flag, this is cooling off in a prison cell. Oh gosh, I hope so. I would think it would be more likely home confinement, but as long as he doesn't have access to his phone or anybody's phone, and he can't go golfing. The bar for B is not super high, but those are two things that, yeah, you should add whatever happens to him to be held accountable for his crimes. It should involve no access to social media and no access to golfing. Just saying. All right, Martin Winter has something to say about Joe Biden, and I thought I would address this. This would be a good time to address this. So Martin Winter was saying Biden shows more and more of a state of mental disorientation, like his blank stare. Could this lead to a Trump victory? Okay. I know he's older. I know that. Nobody's getting any younger. There are a couple things to know about Joe Biden to keep in mind. Not only has he had a lifelong stutter, so he has communication issues, but my understanding is he also, is it osteoarthritis of the spine? I don't think it's osteoporosis. I think it's osteoarthritis. Am I right? Am I right in that? So when he's standing there and he was like, when he was watching that music, he was staring and he was obviously enjoying himself. But last November, I got a herniated disc. It has been awful. I have been in some not good health issues in my life. Not good at all. And I'm not going to list them off here, but they did involve many years of pain and big problems. So, but I can tell you, having a herniated disc is its own kind of awful. Luna Storm says back pain is very restrictive. Yes. Mary Smith says, "Oh my gosh, are we twins?" We could be. And I couldn't keep walking. I've gained 25 pounds. I use my massage pillow. I've got this mechanical massage pillow for my back that I use every day. I'm just starting to be able to lean forward. It's not automatically painful for me to try to put my socks on. It's getting better, but it still hurts. Like last night, I was woken up at 4 a.m. with a Charlie horse. Could have been my electrolytes or dehydration. I don't know how, but sure. Or it could be related to the nerve issues because it's in that right leg, which has been the most affected by the herniated disc. Whatever it is, it's not fun. Susan, is it Ritza or Riza? Says, I know, right? Uh-huh. Bernadette Smith says, I hate those. Yeah. Mary Smith says, oh my gosh, we are twins. There we go. That wasn't fun. I don't recommend that. I don't wish that on anybody. Grace said decompression therapy worked the best for me with an L4, L5 herniated disc. Ah, okay. Lisa DeMar says, I have the same thing. I use ice, not heat. Oh, interesting. Okay. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, including, do you know that YouTube channel? Is it Brad and Bob? The most famous physical therapists on the internet, which is their theme song. Anyway, but they and a lot of other people that I watched were talking about the one thing that does help long term is where you lay on your stomach and you put your hands here against the floor like you're going to sort of do a push up, but you actually just keep your legs and your hips where they are, and you just push up to basically push yourself back like that. That helps because it opens up the front of the two between the two vertebrae. It opens up the front, which pulls the stuff that's sticking out the back in. Anyway, I said all of that and told you much more than you wanted to know. Denise Kleiner, Brad and Bob are great. And Marshana, Brad and Bob. Good. See you later, Patrick. I am 52 years old. At 80, I will be pleased as punch if I can go to a concert and just stand there, just smiling like the happiest person in the world, just really enjoying the show and the music and what have you. And chances are, When I get to that point, am I going to be dancing a jig? I don't know. So, yeah, the ageism makes me crazy. And this whole, Susan Ritza says that helps. It's helped me. So, anyway, Grace says that's pretty much decompression therapy. Oh, cool. Okay. So, and Stephen Colbert, I know you're not listening, but I don't know, maybe somebody will, maybe if enough people start talking about this, he will stop attacking Joe Biden for his age. Good grief. Stephanie Martin says standing cobra is good too. Ooh, I'll have to look that up. Oh, thank you, Fran. That's very sweet. Thank you. And flag this is not just ageism, but ableism. Yes. Yes. Anyway, he's still alive. He's still the president. He's still doing a good job. He knows what he's doing. There's a reason, you know, that and as we age, hopefully, we trade the physical health of youth for wisdom and priority and security. What do you want? Fool, 9 of Wands. They're trying to they anything. They attacked Obama for wearing a brown suit. Come on. These are people, we cannot take these people seriously. They're not arguing anything in good faith. Yeah, and did you see him? Do remember how the Republicans have complained about him at the State of the Union? He stayed there for 45 minutes after his speech, is what I heard. He was late getting through there to start the actual speech. Him speaking was late because he was chit-chatting with everybody. And then he gave his speech, and then he kept chit-chatting with everybody. Like, oh, we're old buddies, let's catch up. And I know I'm an introvert, but still, it's like, I'd be like, this is great, I love you all, I really need to just go. I can only people so much. 7 of Swords, Thief, Page of Swords. These are just petty attacks. 4 of Wands. As if Trump is some paragon of health and vigor. Is it going to make any difference? If it can make any difference in the... Is it really... Are people really going to say, I'm not going to vote for the man who's 80, 81? I'm going to vote for the guy who's 78. Is age really going to be the deciding factor in this upcoming election? The Emperor. 6 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles. Going up the river. Sing Sing, prison. 10 of Swords, legal pain. Metaphorical, legal pain. 10 of Pentacles, the dynasty, the authoritarianism, the king. Not the president, the emperor, the patriarchy. This is what's going to be the deciding factor. Inflation stinks, but we survived. That's the price for surviving a pandemic. It stinks. It's awful. It's hard. But without Joe Biden, it would be so much worse. Anyway, okay. Thea says, I was talking about the most productive president. I was talking about Biden. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. At 5010, Sharon Rice had a question. 5010. Congress is normally seated 3 days before the presidential certification. Yeah. Will MAGA Moses Mikey refuse to seat new members, thereby denying the certification? Oh, okay. So MAGA Mikey, Mr. More Christian Than Thou. But yeah, cruelty, of course. Somebody is a Christian if they live by the teachings of Christ, of Jesus. And I would argue you don't even have to call yourself a Christian. That Jesus wasn't all about worship me, worship me, worship me. In fact, it was live by these teachings. Turn the other cheek. Welcome the stranger. Feed the poor. Clothe the naked. Be kind. Give before you receive. This is share. You know, the stuff we learned in kindergarten or learned from the patron saint of this channel, Fred Rogers. That's Christianity. Talking about your beliefs, your Christianity. There should be Bibles in schools, and there should be all this, and there should be no separation between church and state as long as the cruelest bills get passed about destroying families and keeping people out and taking away rights from women. And get stuffed. I'm more Christian than he is. I'm not Christian officially. Anyway. MAGA Moses Mikey. Lewis says, because being a decent human being is hard. Apparently for them. Yep. Oh, Julie, I'm glad it's better. I'm sorry you went through that. So, Mikey, he hates everything. Illusion, delusion. That's the country, the Empress. Two of Wands, far right communication. However, let me show you. All right, you've got the Empress. That's the country. You have the two of Wands, and that is communication. Usually far right communication, but it's communication. Okay. I'm going to skip the middle card for a minute. You have the Sun. So things coming to light, things being very visible. People are going to be watching. It isn't going to be like, oh, no one's paying attention. Oh, did he try something? People are going to be focused. 10 of Pentacles. That's a dynasty. We know that they want a dynasty. But in these 5 card spreads, it's quite often the card in the middle that has the most power. Not always, but a lot of the time. The center card is the Knight of Cups. So this is people, this is Democrats and people fighting for democracy right in the middle. So they can talk all they want, and they can want a dynasty, but we know what we're looking for. We, the country, are more than them. And ultimately, we're not going to put up with it. There's a lot of scrutiny here. this major arcana sun card, the country. They had their chance to overthrow the country, and they blew it. Thank heavens. But they blew it. Thank heaven. Thank God for stupid criminals. Yeah. So, okay. CC Ryder says Mikey's reign will end at noon on January 3rd per the Constitution if Dems retake the House. Please vote. Please vote. Oh, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to start out once a month going and let's all check. I'd made a little version of that for something like, let's go check a registration. Let's go check a registration. Let's go check a registration to make sure we can vote. So we're going to start doing that at the beginning of every month. Okay. At 56:15. Wolf Rebel is asking, is Chief Justice Roberts on the Supreme Court angry with Alito and Thomas for their scandals? Is he upset about the respect for the court absolutely tanking? Roberts. And see, I for some reason, I always go back to this story I heard back when the musical Hamilton was the thing, and it was so hard to get tickets, and people really wanted to see it. And I don't know if they did a set of performances in Washington, D.C., but they did something. There were a whole lot of politicians who suddenly went to go see that. And one of the people who got tickets to see Hamilton back when it was nearly impossible, it was Justice Roberts. And there was somebody who was sitting in the audience, and they said Justice Roberts wasn't sitting in front of them. It was like one row ahead and like one to the side. So you could kind of see his part of his face. And I mean, you can't be sure, but sometimes you can tell, because in parts of Hamilton, the person said it was almost like Roberts was like thinking, like not really paying attention there, just kind of suddenly, kind of like when people just kind of start looking around, they're thinking. And it had to do with, what legacy are you going to leave? And I always thought that was interesting. And now to see this as the legacy, obviously he wasn't paying much attention then. Anyway. Roberts. Oh, he knows it's a problem. I've got the death card right in the middle. He knows it's a problem. Page of Cups. But until Congress has the ability to stop the Supreme Court, but we have to vote for Democrats. They don't currently have the power to stop the Supreme Court, to force in those ethics rules, to protect access to contraception, to protect women's rights, to protect LGBTQ plus rights, to make sure there remains a separation between church and state. Congress can do it, but we have to vote and insist. Knight of Wands. Oh yeah, I mean, he's got these far-right activists on the court. Six of Swords. I mean, this even refers to Alito's wife and the flag she was flying at their lake house. Who has a lake? Seriously. I know, I'm not trying to shame anybody who's been successful in life, and that's awesome. I don't have a lake house. Do you have a lake house? Death card. Full Knight of Swords. Which makes me think that it's getting bad. It's getting really bad. And it's just going to keep going down. The reputation is going to get worse and worse because these fools think that they can go swanning in there with their far-right weapons. But this Knight of Swords, this is legislators. Knight of Swords is the loudest, I think of it as the loudest card in the deck. This is aggressive law enforcement, not this ideology-based garbage. But we have to vote. But as far as Roberts goes, I don't have him here doing anything. Rhonda Lynn says, I've cleaned a few lake houses, local doctors and lawyers. Yeah. Susan loves to plan. Oh, we would be friends. It's a beach house in Long Beach Island, New Jersey. Okay. Thea Birdie says they do behave as though they have absolute power. Yeah, and they don't. So Davina Belden says, I have a lake house when it floods. And no, I'm not trying to shame anybody. If you've been successful, good for you. Good for you. But you're not supposed to be a Supreme Court judge and go on multi-million dollar vacations. I'm just saying. Enrique Sanchez is asking, well, how will Trump act during the debates? I haven't picked up that he's going to actually take part in them, to be honest. I've been reading on that for the past few days, and Bernadette Smith's asking at 102:30. Any questions I don't get today, I'll roll over to tomorrow. Bernadette Smith was saying there have been more calls for Alito to recuse himself. Will he cave into pressure, or is he just going to do what he wants? I'll look, but oh, thank you, Enrique. Thank you for being here. Alito recuse himself. No. Six of Swords. My way or the highway. Women. See, that's the thing. When they've taken all these reproductive rights away from women, that says you don't think women can be trusted. Women can't make these decisions for themselves. Of course not. They need men involved. They need other people involved. Women can't be allowed to make these decisions. Devil card. Yeah. Three of Cups, Devil card. Knight of Swords. I'm hoping this means that there are Democrats in Congress who will be able to get together the power to do something about this. But until we get to January, unless there are just enough Republicans who drop out of the House and Hakeem Jeffries can take over as Speaker, and even then it's narrow margins. But it would help. But is he going to recuse himself? Is he going to do the right thing? Empress and Death. No. And if it destroys the court, if it destroys the country, if it just whatever, it doesn't matter. He knows best. That's their motto. Father knows best. That's their motto. So, all right. It is actually, I've been on for more than an hour, but it's 1:20 p.m. here in Chicago. At 3 o'clock, I'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel with Sarah, and I'll be working on my astrology course, which is currently, the plan is August 30th, which will give me time to set up the website and a bunch of stuff. But it's 70. I've been working on a timer on the website, so 76 days. So I'll be working very hard on that for the next 76 days. Trust me. But anyway, at 3 o'clock, I'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel. You're always welcome to join in. We focus on our projects, whatever they are, for 25 minutes at a time. We take 5 minutes, let our brains recover, encourage each other. We have a lot of people over there, more and more people over there, and we're just, I got this done, I got this done, I got this done, and it's very inspiring. Anyway, other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow. And I'm here every single day of the year. So thank you. Please remember, you are not alone. We are in this together, and there are good days ahead. All right, so take care. And I will see you right back here tomorrow. Same cat time, same cat channel. All right. Bye.